What's happening, YouTube? I'm back at it again. So I apologize. I had to take about a week off because I had to go down to a family funeral. Had to be there for support for one of my cousins, but he's like an older brother to me. Growing up, the brother I never had, so definitely had to be there to help support him because his mom passed away. And that was kind of hard on the family just because it was like back to back funerals. The week before that, one of my other good cousins. Who I was very close to as well. His dad passed away, so yeah, that gave me just a little bit of time to take off, kind of reflect on just everything that's going on in my personal life. So other than that, wanting to get back to you guys and kind of just do a little review over the debate as of recently. So this is going to be the first time I've touched this topic just on social media, period. I don't post anything usually about my selection of candidates, my views, anything like that, just because we all know that politics is a very sensitive topic. It affects some much more than others. And with that being said, I'm just gonna let you know right now, my views are gonna be pretty much one-sided because I do know who I want to vote for. But with that also being said, understand that I respect everybody's opinion. So, if you decide to vote opposite of me, that's perfectly fine. I get it. But my view today is not to bash anyone in their voting choices. It's more so to try to bring some reasoning to not only the situation we're currently dealing with, but what we can kind of see going forward. Because as a country, we've been lied to a lot within the last couple of years, more so during this administration than others. And just to see, that with how bad this administration was, to see them running again, it's insanity. Literally, it's insanity. The definition itself, doing the same thing, expecting better results. So with that being said, we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna give my opinion on a couple things, try to get some reasoning to it. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and put out there now that I have served like in the military, I've served law enforcement. My regular job is a business analyst, so I'm pretty aware when it comes to a lot of things economic, what affects what and what you kind of, not necessarily be for sure of, but kind of predict, long-term effects. So share my opinions and we'll keep it at that. But let's get into it.
President.
Vice President Harris, he says you hate Israel.
That's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows that. He's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself. It is well known that he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine. It is well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un. And it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear. They can manipulate you with flattery and favors. And that is why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace. That is why.
I just want to pause right there for a second. And also, this is going to be a very, pretty much like kind of a very short clip. I'm working on cutting down the videos. So this clip itself was only like 2 minutes. But I did watch the debate. I definitely implore you all to watch the debate for yourself. It was very insightful. Got to see a lot of the candidates' characters, some better than others. But with that also being said, yes, it's very known by now that the debate was pretty much 3 versus 1. And with that being said, I felt like if the roles were reversed, Camilla definitely would not have fared as well as Trump did during this debate. Now, strolling through my Instagram and my Facebook and stuff like that, it was kind of some mixed reviews when it came to the debate itself. Some felt like Camilla won. I obviously felt like Trump won this debate just because of the things that he said and the policies he kind of, implemented. They sound more viable for the economy versus just promising to throw money at you through government programs. And it's like a small fraction of people that's going to be able to actually receive these programs and funds and stuff like that. Like I said, I've worked government. I know all the regulations and things like that they put in place to really block out a lot of people from being able to receive these programs. So if you think like hearing, I'm going to throw you this, I'm going to throw you that, it's going to be like a stimulus check kind of throw, you're sadly mistaken. But anyways, I started there because I want to get on the point where she just used the reference talking about military leaders that served during his time pretty much, in short, endorsed her and said that she's pretty much the better candidate, and pretty much that what he had done for the office has not been up to par pretty much. And of course those not her exact words, but just pretty much what she's kind of getting at. Now that's funny because for one, like I said, I've served in the military, and almost every service member knows that talking about politics, especially the commander-in-chief or the vice president while you're in the service, is a big no-no. So, with that being said, if she is asking these, I'm assuming generals and higher enlisted commanders and stuff like that about their, about her as the VP and possible president versus Trump, I mean, it's pretty obvious what kind of answer you're going to get. And when I say that, I want to put it in a clear scenario, as in, let's pretend, I'm an employee and, my management pretty much gets wiped out completely, overtaken and replaced with new management. New management holds a meeting after the first month and asks, how do they compare to the old management? I mean, it's pretty clear what my answer is going to have to be. If I say that the old management was better, then chances is I'm going to be laid off or going to be harassed until I decide to finally quit. If I go ahead and just play ball, then at least I have a job for another day. So her using that reference is just, I mean, it's not even, I don't even see why it's even worth mentioning. If anything, it's just trying to gaslight. Secondly, she talked about pretty much Trump, I'm just going to say, befriending other nation leaders. Okay, so going into you not liking the relationship he had with other leaders, even though we just had more peaceful times during his presidency, I would at least say somewhat of better relationships with these other countries, that to me didn't really work in their favor. And I say that due to the fact that it's only during the Camilla and Biden administration did we really find ourselves like in this catastrophe. None of this was going on during Trump's administration. Honestly, they should be taking some lessons from Trump in decorum and really speaking to other leaders, because it seems like, if anything, they will want Camilla to be in the office because they can do whatever, knowing she's president of the United States. Biden obviously haven't really done anything. So yes, we're seeing like the powers, economically, like shift. We're seeing it shift because we have bad leadership. So I'm gonna let them continue cooking, but for the most part, everything she just said is you know what? I'm just gonna let them go. I'm just gonna let her go.
We understand that we have to have a president who is not consistently weak and wrong on
Vice
national
President
security,
Harris.
including the importance of upholding and respecting in highest regard our military.
So in short, she just said we don't need her as a president. We have to have a president that's not weak and strong. Well, not weak on national security. So, and I'm just gonna put, I don't know why she said weak and strong. Like that didn't make sense. But anyways, I get what she's trying to say. Now the way she worded it, yes, terribly worded, but I get what she's trying to say. Yes, in short, Camilla, sorry, we don't need you. So let you continue finishing because that's like the only right thing you've said so far.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
They're the ones, and she's the one that caused it. That's weak on national security by allowing every nation last month for the year, 168 different countries sending people into our country. Their crime rates are way down. Putin.
And I wanted to kind of just stop right there for a second because what even prompted me to kind of make this video is from a talk I had with one of my other cousins who's like a younger brother to me. So he works not necessarily for the stock exchange, but kind of for one well, it's kind of like a stock exchange. But for the most part, I just keep it at that and simple. So he has a lot of information when it comes to like seeing inside trades and things like that. And a very knowledgeable person is what I'm trying to kind of get to. A numbers guy, kind of like me, but more on the accounting side versus me. I'm more economic wise. Also kind of have a little bit more experience with them because I've had to work, with a lot of federal funding, compliancy, having to pay attention to a lot of world events and seeing how it affects the money and where money gets sent, and things like that. So, with it also being said, we had a difference when it came to opinions on candidates. Now, he told me he wasn't going to vote for Kamala. And of course, like I said, I've told you, look, hey, I respect whoever you want to vote for, period. So he didn't have to tell me that he wasn't going to vote for Kamala. Whether he do or don't, that's up to him. I'm not responsible for somebody else's decision. But with that also being said, I want to touch on the fact that he said during our conversation when I told him, I'm just gonna put it out there now. He's more for Kamala, but he said he's not voting for Kamala. I think that's a lie. I'm just gonna put it out there too. I think he's definitely gonna vote for Kamala. Probably just don't want to say it. Which, like I said, I can understand why politics is usually very touchy subject. But I try to be open, so it's no judgment. Give my opinion, just like he's free to give his opinion. In this case, we had a different opinion when it came to the immigrants crisis. With that being said, we're both from Florida. I moved out of Florida, and I've had a chance to kind of, like I said, see more of how government funding is spent on a federal level and on a state level. So, with me seeing firsthand how bad, these resources are being wasted on immigrants versus cities having almost triple or double the amount of homelessness, which was already very high, and then people not being able to receive these services, I see the effects of this stuff. But then you have someone who's, and that's why I say, I share my opinion because I feel like some people really just don't know, or they've been stuck voting Democrats for so long that they kind of block themselves off from outside world, or really just force themselves to have to believe was not true. He said that we had a immigrant migrant problem for years. And sure, to a certain extent, we have had migrants coming in, illegal immigrants coming in, but the reason why it was so bad before is because, yes, we had some. We didn't have millions coming in. Not only that, you not have it where organizations are purposely laying off their whole staff to hire immigrants to pay them less. We have cities renting out housing to immigrants to charge them more rent, which takes away homes from being available for the actual citizens that's paying those property taxes. And then when it's being questioned during these council meetings, the citizens' concerns are not being heard. And don't get me wrong, I get this is more of a local level, but what I'll try to get him to understand is that this is all being affected by the Biden and Harris administration, because they have the power to close the border completely. They have the power to do it, and they choose not to. So yes, you have local governments taking advantage, trying to get ahead. Have businesses taking advantage, trying to get ahead, while the people are the ones suffering. The people are the ones not being left without houses. The people are the ones not getting resources. The people are the ones still paying the taxes for the immigrants to be able to get food stamps, to get government assistance, in short, that they can't even qualify for. So, that's why I say we have to kind of move away from thinking with the emotions, just thinking about going with the emotions, and think about what's realistically happening around us. And it's easy to not care as much due to the fact that, when you're up, you don't really feel the effects of it. I'm going to be honest. Like I said, we both, like I said, high earners. I'm talking about at least not super high now. I ain't wealthy, but at least over 200K household in the house every year. But the difference is that I have a family of 5. Well, stepson, so I'll just say 4 because he's not here majority of the time. But I have a family of 4 that's that's here all the time. 2 kids, me and my wife. So 200K only goes so far. And with that being said, I'm a good spender. I keep my monthly expenses low. The only thing I pay for is my mortgage and my regular bills, like lights, water, and all that stuff. Everything else I've paid off. And I can save money here and there, but I feel even the effects of what's going on. Because I have kids, which are expensive. I have a family, which is expensive. So I have to think about everything going on economically. Versus him, it's just him and his wife. And, I don't count nobody's pockets or their bills and stuff like that. But I know they're not spending nowhere near as much on outside sources versus what they would spend on themselves. So as to what's going on around, it's probably not as much care. And that's why I say, you're not caring as much until it happens to you. But, I had to try to really tell him, this microprice is real. It's real. You got communities getting taken over. Communities getting taken up completely. Even the whole past thing being in Ohio. Sure, people made jokes about it, but now everybody's quiet. Now that footage will come out. You can't even post a video on Facebook without blocking the video and calling it miscommunication or misleading information. So, and trust, I don't know how it's misleading if you have plenty of citizens coming out saying that it's happening. Even during the council meetings, they're saying that it's happening, saying that the immigrants are being able to get vehicles, registered vehicles, and it's causing multiple accidents. Kids almost getting hit due to these immigrants not knowing how to drive over there. Them seeing them actually take geese and goose and stuff out of lakes and actually eat at cats and dogs. This is stuff they're saying. It's being downplayed by the media, by social networks, So at this point, that's why I did feel kind of more obligated to go ahead and just really share my opinion because I feel like we live now in a society where you're punished for saying the truth and you're rewarded for saying lies. And part of this is due to social media, but another part is due to people just not wanting to hear the truth no more. And that's honestly, that's the real problem that's wrong with society. Is that you can hear everything in this debate that sounds logical versus knowing the other person is blatantly lying. If we would still convince ourselves that the liars are the one that's telling the truth. Because we don't want to believe the lies. For years we've been asking for transparency, and then when we get someone that's transparent, we're crucified. But we'll continue.
Putin endorsed her last week, said, I hope she wins. And I think he meant it, because what he's gotten away with is absolutely incredible. It wouldn't have happened with me. The leaders of other countries think that they're weak and incompetent. And
that is so true. We see this on an everyday life. Everyday life, we see this. It's not only in government that you have to see the look that smirk on her face because she knows it's true. Her administration has been the weakest administration to the point where they have gotten away with doing whatever they want. Gotten away with it. Lives have been lost because of her administration. Billions of dollars lost because of her administration. Damage to the economy that's going to be damaged for a long time due to her administration. And yes, I get the economy has its ups and downs, but the damage that her administration has done during this term, this is long-term stuff. This is not going to be a short fix. Even the manipulating job market the way they have, just to try to make it seem like they're doing good, and then to come down and say it's 800,000 jobs that disappeared all of a sudden. The allows of companies to have hiring freezes, but to say that they're hiring just to make the numbers look good. I guarantee they're still sending those same companies their incentives for faking that they're hiring, knowing it, but still doing it because it at least looks good both ways. I'm not saying both parts are not bought to certain things, but you can tell which one is bought more than the other.
they are. They're grossly incompetent. And I just ask one question. Why does Biden go in and kill the Keystone Pipeline and approve the single biggest deal that Russia's ever made, Nord Stream 2, the biggest pipeline anywhere in the world going to Germany and all over Europe? Because they're weak and they're ineffective. And Biden, by the way,
President
gets paid
Trump,
a lot of money.
Thank you.
That's what I said. Like, you guys got to pay attention to everything that goes on economically. I'm not saying that Trump's make all the best decisions while in office, but for the most part, with what he was thrown, what he had to deal with, I feel like he did pretty well for what he was thrown in their office. Now, they didn't show necessarily like the last thing that I want to talk about is all the failed promises inside that debate, such as student loans. Don't get me wrong, I've had student loans, I paid them off. So for the most part, look, I don't care everything. Transparency. Like the chance how president come and say that like not gonna be viable, but we're gonna keep fighting. is very, and I think it's someone was like in 99. Yes, pay company. I'm glad that yeah, couldn't get away. That's what happened in some years. You know, the mechanism policy was Democrat policies status right people that STDs that's really just like not very program the military.
qualified does a black person have to be? Graduated at the top of her class at Howard, went to law school, was Attorney General of a state, a United States Senator, a Vice President of the United States, but she's not qualified? This representative from Tennessee, he called her a DEI candidate. And then they start calling her colored. Then they start calling her out of her name. And as a black man, I can't let no white man talk about no sister like that. And I not take offense to it. Because who is more disqualified than Donald Trump? And Republicans are all in because he is the avatar for their grievance. I'm all in.